And what I'm here to talk about, we heard an excellent presentation on how to deal with web-based content in case of matured, the localization ready matured buyers. So whenever they are ready and they are willing to cooperate, and there are developers in the background who are willing and or capable of implementing whatever he suggested, I think that's the way to go forward. So what I would like to talk about is for the rest of the world who might just approach you saying, hey, listen, this is my website and I would like to get this localized. This is my website and I need a quick word count from you right now. And I cannot provide you the content in a file. So I asked Chandor about how many people have already been here, and he said that about half of them, but which means that half not. So what I would like to ask you is that how many of you are familiar with the term of translation proxy? Please raise a hand. Okay, so it's roughly like 1%. So excuse from you, but I would like to briefly present a different solution, a complementary solution, thanks just described. And I would like to compare a few possible technologies that we provide on how to handle these other use cases where you just do not have any kind of content coming from the client. And I'm also prepared with two short demos for you. One is presenting a live preview functionality integrated in memoQ, and I will have one more thing, which is something we just demonstrated to SAP as well, for all the cases when the aforementioned solution just doesn't work or they do not have time to do the proper localization. So please feel free to stop me at any time for if you have questions, and I will try to balance between the describing the old technologies, comparing all the features and possibilities we have. And of course, I will be at the end of the presentation ready for questions or wait out there in the exhibition booth. So basically, our understanding on all the not so mature buyers for website localization is that they are sometimes still ready for the manual effort. They might just say that, listen, this is this is my source content management system, and what they would like to do is extract the source to a file by the client. So that would be, of course, the ideal solution. And they may or may not have a proper content connector for that, which is may or may not properly configured. So just for example, for WordPress, there is the WPML, which is an excellent solution for WordPress, except that it has to be configured as well. So it might get straight away 90% of the content, but the client still won't be happy without the rest 10% of the content. And of course, as we have heard, the demand or the great idea is always to provide context for the translators, which is very difficult task just having the exported content in an XML or in an XML file. The original idea is not to do it somehow, and of course there is the content connector, which is the more professional way. But here the challenge is that it always has to be up to date to the version. So whenever there is any change from for example, a major version in Drupal, then you all of a sudden have to have a new content connector because they decide to have a new localization strategy, and you will see clients out in the world with different versions running their content management system. But it's always a challenge, and some clients, we still hear these kind of nightmares, is that they expect you as a translator, as a translation company, so they say that, okay, our content management system is localization ready, here we have the text boxes, so please just provide the translation next to it in another text box. So there it's quite difficult to explain, that there are translation management systems, there are excellent cat tools, translation memories, leverage, terminology, machine translation, and so on. So the world is pretty much beyond that. So what we tried to do in the past 4 years is we built what we call a translation proxy solution. And here basically the idea is that instead of providing a custom solution for each and every content management system and each and every version of it, and then installing it on the server and requiring IT support from the client. What we do is we scrape the content from the published website. So this approach works well for content-heavy websites. We don't really recommend this approach for web application that Hank provided, but whenever there is a lot of content coming from a database and the client is cannot or not willing to cooperate, then this can work very, very, very easily. So it basically means that there is tiny to no effort required from the client side. You can go straight ahead, provide word count, extract the content, repetition count, fuzzy matches, everything. And then you can update the changes, you can detect the new content, you can provide the translation, you can do everything without the client. But this is too good to be true. Because there is only one little thing, which I must mention here, is that the content that you translated and provided and the website is there and everything, it just never gets back to the original content management system. So it has its ups and downs, but if the client can accept it, and our understanding at the moment of the market is that the larger the client, the more likely that they will accept this approach, then this is a very good way to go ahead, go straightforward. And this is also a possibility where we can provide an in-context, a real-time live preview, a live visualization for the live content. So as you edit the content in memoQ or straight in easyling, then the editors, the proofreaders, everyone can immediately see the result, text expansion, in context, everything. However, there is one downside for this, is that this one has an ongoing fee, because the translated website is powered by easyling. It doesn't have to be huge, but some still sensitive to this matter, this fact. And so basically also that's why we came up with what we call a JavaScript translation solution, which is beginning everything is exactly the same as the translation proxy. So the content is extracted by easyling and so on and so forth. But the very last step is that the translation of each and every web page happens in the browser of the client. That means basically that the monthly fee just goes away. So there is no maintenance fee, and for those other titles I mentioned before, this can be a good solution, and you still get the in-context preview I'm going to show as a demo later. The challenge there, however, that the JavaScript translation solution, as a default, there is no SEO. So you do translate this, but because the translation happens in the browser, most of the search engines, the crawlers, just don't see this content. But stay tuned, we have a solution for that as well. So basically, this is the comparison we provide. So whenever basically the client is willing to outsource the full life cycle of the translation of their website, so they would like to focus on the original, and they want you to help them or to take care of everything else, and we offer these two solutions. And to bring these two together, so to provide a hybrid solution, we managed to even provide an SEO for the JavaScript solution in a way that whenever there is a crawler, so a Google bot and Yahoo or Yandex, whatever is coming, then we can still serve the content translated in the proxy. And for the rest of for the humans, then we can provide the JavaScript translation in the browser. So this is a great balance between being SEO visible, very little to no to zero monthly fee, still having all the advantages. But what we must keep in mind is that this will never get back to the content management system. So it can still help you with all the quoting bit, but that's something that must be accepted by the client. So what I would like to show you here is basically I prepared two videos. That I would like to show you. It's So it walks you through, for those especially never seen easyling in action and translation proxy. This is easyling running in a browser, running in a cloud, and I'm just going to provide a quick translation of the memoQ page. So I'm just selecting the source, selecting the language, I'm visiting the pages, setting a single like Hungarian target language, and then basically the crawler just visits the pages of the memoQ website. So basically, it can be like, controlled in a variety of ways. Now that's just limited to like 10 pages, and it's a little bit speeded up. And it visits the pages and extracts the whole content into this cloud-based environment. And now here we are creating an XLIF file, and this is sent for translation into the memoQ. Now we are going to show the simplified workflow, and wherever we are just simply like opening the XLIF file, downloading the XLIF, opening in memoQ and creating a project for that. But of course there is a possibility for integration. So what we created is like a fully automated workflow through Dropbox, for example, and the file-based and memoQ server-based integration that can pick up the content, do the translation, deliver the content, and then we can deliver it back to the cloud as well. So here we open up the XLIF file coming from easyling into memoQ. And so once this is opened up, we are going to see all the source content displayed in the memoQ website's landing page. Here is all. This is all the content here with all the tags, which are very important in case of websites, because that can make a big difference on how it is actually used on the website. And what we see here is that this is a real life connectivity. So this project requires or asks for verification of access, or who is accessing it, because we faced several projects where confidentiality or pre-release products was a very important issue and information. So you have to be logged in here to give access for this specific memoQ use case, and then just clicking OK, it loads the actual preview. And what is very important here, compared to the previous approach where those are like a variety of static snapshots created through an automated process, because we cannot do it and because the client cannot provide all those. So this is the live web page. And basically here, whenever they click on any visual element here, we can select it in memoQ. And of course it works all the way around, so selecting any segment here in memoQ editor shows it up in this live preview panel. And then providing the actual translation here, having all the tags properly inserted here, and then hitting enter, and it just shows up immediately in the live window. So basically this is our integration with the memoQ, and this is how it takes further what we previously had. So memoQ is clearly targeting as a professional CAT tool, while easyling is a professional translation proxy, but not a CAT tool. So this is bringing the best of all these together. So we are there to get the content and provide it for translation, and then also to bring it back and turn it into a live website. So basically this is the basic offering of the translation proxy and the JavaScript-based translation. And the common in this is that the result of this translation is meant to be visible for the entire world. So it becomes a live website with these translations being local, but at the end of the day, of course, it becomes visible to everyone. And then we came into contact with SAP, and they had a different approach, a different request for that. So while ideally everyone is looking for the proper way of doing website localization, web application localization, from time to time they have to face time pressure. So the special use case we came across was that they have their application, which is like 99% localized. There are still tiny little bits which left untranslated. And whenever they are like preparing a demo, they might not have the 1, 2, 3 day process to track down all these, the source in the resource files, provide the translation, and then bring it live. And so what we did with our existing technology is that we built a browser extension for this. And basically what it does, or what it means, is that you are all familiar how the Google Translate works in a browser to provide a private view to you for any website using machine translation, right? So it does not affect the original website. Still, you as a viewer can decide to change whatever you see with machine translation at the time. So basically what we did is that we built the same browser extension, but instead of using a machine translation, which is also possible outside Google MT, we provided a possibility to use TMX. So let me present you how it works. So basically, this is the original website, and here up in the right corner, this is this big, as we call it, Chrome extension, Chrome toolbar. And so what it can do is that this is a private view, adjusting my browser, and what I can do is enable this extension to work specifically on this sap.com domain. So of course, we don't want to spread the word or alter different websites. And then basically, we reload it, and then I can provide for this specific website a TMX. So all I do here is I import a TMX, and this Bible Chrome extension applies the TMX to this web page. So once the TMX is processed to the browser, we see here that this English text just became Spanish. So basically, this is the intended usage for the SAP. So whenever there is a small snippet which is left untranslated, then it can be quickly patched, of course, to be later localized properly. The other possible usage of this is to connect this toolbar into in-house, so on-premise hosted machine translation services, and then use those to translate any website without any kind of prior cooperation or integration requirement from the website owner. And why to do this is that because the Google MT is a public website translation provider or translation provider, they have the right to store any kind of source content that you submit. So basically, this way, without us, learning that much of MT, but knowing a lot about website translation, so we allow to use any MT engine on any website and see that translation in a dynamic way. So if there is any click on it, there is any pop-up, there is any kind of modification, we can still follow that and translate that live. So basically, this is where we are in 2017 with website translation technology. And if you have any question, I'm happy to answer as long as Shandor lets us, or meet us outside at the exhibition. Thank you for your attention.